I would love to talk about Zen Tangles. Zen Tangles are a type of drawing that is inspired by the idea of Zen or meditation, which means to sort of quiet the mind and let your thoughts go. So the idea of a Zen tangle is to use line drawing to sort of be at peace and relax. And I love the idea of doing Zen tangles, and there's lots of ways to do them. But I'm going to show you just a couple. The one that I showed in our Zoom class meeting started out with any sort of shape. A shape is a line that closes back in on itself. So I can make any type of shape I want to start a Zen tangle. In our class on Friday, I made an organic shape. So something that we don't have a name for that closes in on itself. And then I added some lines to break up that shape. And it really doesn't matter how you do this. They could be zigzag lines, they could be loop-de-loop lines, and it breaks up that space. And you're going to continue to break up that space, but now add patterns. And as you're using the patterns, don't think about it. Maybe the only thing you should really be thinking about is, am I using thick lines, thin lines, dotted lines? Should I do some shapes? Those are the only things that you're going to be thinking about. And you're going to think about organic lines and lines that look like they're made from a machine until you've filled up all the shapes. And you can see I filled up my original shape that was broken up into different shapes, and I used lots of different colored Sharpies. This is the one that I started in our Zoom video call on Friday. And now I've started to add other shapes to the outside that I can keep filling in. I've used different colored Sharpies and my pen, because I don't have all of my art supplies here at home. You can use a pencil to make a Zen tangle. You can use a ballpoint pen. You could do it while watching TV. It's a way to sort of quiet your mind and relax. But if you would like to get a little creative with your Zen tangle, instead of using an organic shape to start and breaking it up into parts, you can start with a block or bubble letter. And just as a reminder, it's a nice way to start a block or bubble letter by lightly in pencil making the line of the letter and then turning it into a shape. So one way to start turning it into a shape, if I want a block letter, is to find the ends of that line and then make a parallel line all the way around on one side, and then on the other side, following it all the way around until I've made a block letter. And then I can fill this whole S shape in with Zen tangles. I can split it up. Sometimes I like to split it up just to make it a little bit easier, so I'm not so intimidated by such a giant space to fill in with different lines. And then I don't have to switch colors all the time. I could just start with the same color, keep on going. Think about coloring in some of the shapes that you've made by closing on the lines, so that some of your lines look thick and some of your lines look thin. And I'll be posting on Google Classroom my finished examples and on Instagram, so to give you some ideas. Okay. The third Zen Tangle technique is one of my favorites, and there's lots of possibilities with this one. So the third Zen Tangle technique requires some tape. And masking tape and Scotch tape, you can use either. I like masking tape better. And also masking tape, the glue on the tape is a little bit too strong. So to make it weaker, before I put it on my paper, I like to put it against my clothing. So usually I do my leg like this a couple of times until I can see there's a little bit of lint from my clothes. That's blocking the glue from the paper, so it'll be easier to peel up later. And then I put it down on my paper in any sort of pattern I feel like. So I've already put a couple pieces down on my paper and started to fill in the shapes I made with my Zen Tangle. When I'm all finished filling the whole paper, I will peel up all of that tape that I put down very carefully and slowly so that I can't see any paper on the back of my tape when I'm peeling it up. And my Zen Tangle will be nicely contained in those shapes, and I'll have a nice white other space to put down. I could paint with watercolor or add chalk to the background. I could even add more Zen Tangles to the shapes that are left over that are kept white by the masking tape and create something else. I will post some examples of this on my Google Classroom and my Instagram at Ms. Forslund. So those are 3 different ways to make a Zen Tangle.